How you doing today, guys? I am Dr. Cali, and today I'm going to be fixing your Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, let's go ahead and first jump on in. We have a patient, the name of Luna. Luna, are you here? And this person says, this is my TCG Salamangreat deck list. I'm struggling with consistency right now. All right, Luna, let's go ahead and see what you got here. Check out what it is here. Let's walk into the room. Let me know what your symptoms are and you will go through it. Oh, okay. I'm actually starting to see it. So Salamangreat's a very, very consistent deck that is full of one-card combos. Like Salamangreat Gazelle is a one-card combo. Salamangreat Fire is a one-card combo. Salamangreat Spinny is not a one-card combo, but it gets you pretty far. And if you combine it with another fire monster, you can get places. There are two important consistency cards that we're missing. But first, we'll talk about Salamangreat Circle. So mathematically, 3, 6, 9 out of 45 cards, if we're talking about just from a consistency standpoint, that is not enough. Now, we do have the 12. I overlooked it with Signet Mining. But the best thing that we could have is 15, okay? 15 one-card starters. It's what normal modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks play. And getting your deck closer to 43 to 40 is probably going to help you boost with consistency as well. Now, just looking at this deck list, there are some cards that stand out here that we don't need to play. We don't need to play Blink Out, right? Blink Out says target one link monster on the field, return it to the extra deck, then you can special summon one monster from your graveyard that was sent there as link material. This card can be good for going against like Maliss and stuff, and it also can be good to like get rid of our own Salamangreat monsters in case they were getting negated or we needed an extra attack. But this is what I like to call win more. We don't need Blink Out in our deck. The next thing we really don't need is Forbidden Droplet, but that's here nor there. I think it's even more important is that we don't need Link into the Brains. Link into the Brains special summons a monster, but negates its effects and allows us to Link summon. This can be pretty good in situations where we need an additional monster on the field and we just need to get our combo starter. But it's also more than likely not necessary, right? If we're playing 15 starters, so if we're playing 3 Gazelle, we don't need to play 3 Fire, to be honest. We don't even really need to play 15. 12 is enough if you drop down to 40. But if we're playing 3 Gazelle, 2 to 3 Fire, 3 Mining, 3 Salamangreat Circle, that should be enough. But here's what we can also do. We can play Lady Debug and cut down on Salamangreat Fire. And then if we cut from 45 to 40, which means cutting out Blink Outs, cutting out the random Jaguar, you don't need 2 of those. That puts us at 42. Mathematically, that's enough for us to be consistent, or as consistent as possible. If you're still having more consistency issues, consider dropping the droplets or the triple tactics talents for more cards that can help you with your combo. Now, should you play more starters? Well, Gazelle's a starter that's an extender. Lady Debug is only a starter. We gotta remember, Lady Debug is only a starter. Salamangreat Fire is a card that you often want to extend with. It's not a card that you really want to start out with. So you can get away with that type of thing. Another huge card that I've noticed isn't in your extra deck, and we can drop Salamangreat Heat Leo for, is the Link 2 Cyber's Wicket. Cyber's Wicket searches Weasel, and Weasel acts as an extender. I would definitely cut Jaguar down to 1. I think we should strongly consider Cyber's Wicket. Maybe in the weakest link here is cutting the both Heat Leos. You can play a 3rd Balinx and a 2nd copy of Cyber's Wicket here. We also don't need the Nightmare Phoenix too. So if you're really, really stuck on it, you can play it. But I would personally cut the Nightmare Phoenix for a Link Spider, because Link Spider helps us play around. It helps us play into Nibiru better. Well, they do, but usually side for Maliss. Our side deck is just completely cooked, right? Our side deck doesn't, I don't even know what we're siding for. This don't make no sense. I like the strikes in the sideboard. I don't like the burning draw. I think the eclipses are not going to work as well as we want them to be. And here's our Maliss matchup cards, but we're only playing 1 and 1, right? So I think the sideboard is a little cooked. We should probably go back and figure out what exactly we would be. But to make this deck really consistent, again, get to that 40 to 43 cards, dropping some of those cards that we don't need, some of those win more cards, and consider incorporating some of those other cards. Hope that it helped. I would say that this is pretty much you know, just like a cold coming in for the flu and maybe making sure that it's not anything wrong. Salamangreat does have a ceiling, and, you know, we can reach that ceiling, but I don't think we're going to do anything else. The side deck is designed for everything. I mostly play remote duels, so I don't have any side for anything specific. So you should, even if you should almost never know what you're playing against, right? At least in a perfect world. You still side for the best decks. I'm not going to side for bad decks. I'm going to side for going against the best. Because if I play against another rogue deck, not being prepared for them is fine, because it's rogue for a reason, right? But yeah, hope that helped. We have another patient, Queen Panda. Decided to try this version of Maliss at my first YCS in April. My biggest issue was Ryzeal, since I struggled with that matchup. Also wanted feedback for side options for Blue Eyes. I wanted feedback for the main and side deck. Let's see what we got here. Wow, what's wrong with this? Whoa. Whoa. Queen Panda, you are on a roll. Look, Queen Panda. I was literally going to tell you, yeah, just play Metaltronus. You're ahead of the ball. Wow. The longer I look at your deck, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't want to fix anything. Nah, you got to play better. You're doing something wrong. That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. If I look at this and I say you're doing something wrong, that's a good thing. That means that it isn't a deck building issue, and most people do have deck building issues. I think that this is a solid deck. There's some cards that I personally wouldn't be like, right? Like I would be hesitant on the Aura of Darkness, and like you said, I'd probably be hesitant on the Thrust too. But that we're being nitpicky at that point in time, right? My job isn't to go over your deck and make sure that it's picture perfect, because what's picture perfect in one particular situation isn't picture perfect in the next. In a regional, the shifters are going to cook, because not everybody's playing the best deck in the game. So no, I like this deck. I like this a lot. I wouldn't get nitpicky with you. I wouldn't. But if you are having Ryzeal problems, there are some other side deck cards that you should consider. Exceed Encore's pretty good for them, because a lot of times the main thing that you even want to deal with or not deal with is the detonator. So that's good. Wanted feedback for your side options for Blue Eyes. I don't see any side options for Blue Eyes that you have, right? Maybe Slayer. So the reason why I don't have Slayer here is because look at the extra deck. Look at the extra deck, right? We could Slayer Detonator. We got Metaltronus, right? We don't. Exceed Encore doesn't require you to play that much. Goblin Biker going bonkers is actually a good card too. Metaltronus also does check Blue Eyes. Metaltronus is really good against Blue Eyes. I have a meta counter guide where it tells you what to stop against them, when to stop it, how to stop it. That would probably help you a little bit more. Some cards off the top of my head to stop Blue Eyes. Well, one of them you can't play, which is Lava Golem. That would have been pretty nice to be able to Lava Golem, right? You're already playing the Metaltronus. Metaltronus cooks them. Like, Metaltronus is good. This monster just so happens to be 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense, and it also happens to be a light monster. So I can cook Blue Eyes White Dragon. If you want to cook Spirit Dragon, there's Malong, which is also an Ultimate Slayer target. To be honest, you really could play Ultimate Slayer. Like, I ain't gonna lie. You can cut these out, put the Ultimate Slayers, right? And then you can find a card in your extra deck to cut, which is probably Dark, maybe Bussy, and you can play like Maolong, right? And you can play Aggregator and Ultimate Slayer, because now your Metaltronus now has crosses and you can have Ultimate Slayer live. Nah, your deck's good. No glazing, but no, you like the things that I'm suggesting are even then just nitpicky. It's going to go down to skill versus skill. And in my opinion, when it comes with your deck, there's some things that I would personally, personal preference or something like that. But overall, nah, you're good. How many Bestials should Maliss players be playing? Right now, I would probably shove as many Bestial monsters as humanly possible in the deck. This is a good amount, right? If you can find a way to put more, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, and again, I would say that this deck is like, bro, you wasting my time. You came here talking about your elbow feel funny. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're doing good. Just keep playing. All right. You'll figure out those little niche changes as you go around. Sequilva says, this is in real life list. I want to build a strong board with big monsters. I struggle with consistency and want help. Uh-oh. Okay, guys. This is one of those moments where you don't want to help a person because you know it's only going to make them a more toxic person. I don't even play the hand rip card. Okay, that's your big problem. You need to be playing the hand rip card. That's pretty much it. You need to be playing the hand rip card. You need to be playing triple tactics thrust and triple tactics talent. This card's not good. All right. You never want to put yourself in a position where you can give your opponent cards when there are just better cards in the game. So my advice, I'd consider not playing Rainbow. I would consider upping Dark World Accession because this card's actually good. This card's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. I'd probably play 2 copies. I'd cut this card because you're making Dark Law. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. It's just not worth it, right? Skill Drain should probably be in the main board. I'm not even going to cap. Skill Drain should probably be there. This card should be nowhere near you. This card should be Solemn Strike. I don't own a Solemn Strike. Fortunately, Solemn Strike's a rare. So, not really hard to get, right? I think that you're playing some cards that don't really help your deck, but kind of are cool. Like, for example, you're playing Vision Resonator, Mass Change, the Diabolica. Rainbow is also not really a great card. Salamander, but we're not even playing the rank for... Oh, we are playing the Daggerus, right? No, you're good. So, and then we can drop the Dark World Dealings. You want to make this deck a little bit more consistent. Newsflash, Dark Worlds isn't really that consistent, but if we're going to make it as consistent as possible, we need to consider dropping some of these cards that don't really fulfill our goal. Also, we should be looking to hand loop. I'm not even going to lie. That's the best way to play this deck right now. Hand loop. Just hand loop. Maybe me and TJ will sit down and we'll test something where the hand loop isn't mandatory and we'll throw it on like a dual challenge or something. But I think hand loop is what you do like every single time. So you're going to be spending 20 minutes playing. So you might as well just hand loop your opponent. For somebody that said Appaloosa is unfortunately banned in the TCG. So no Appaloosa here. Your extra deck or your side deck, we've already talked about this. Some of these cards, like I don't see why we're playing Thunderbird. We probably should play more Radiance, to be honest. This is one of those only decks that can play like Radiant, Lava Golem, and stuff like that and get away with it. Like, we're not playing the Kin and Jin line. Kin and Jin is pretty good, but gets negated, so I can understand why not playing it. We can do that. When a monster would be normal summon or spell summon, you can negate the summon if you do destroy that monster, then discard one Fiend monster. Huh. It's actually not a bad card. I only own 1 Radiant. Get some more. They're commons. I'm not telling you get a $20 card. It's like 15 cents if even, right? I play this in real life and would like to take it to a regional and cat skill. Any thoughts? Don't believe in the Crimson Blazer line, but willing to test it new things. If anything, I'd love help with the side as I struggle deciding what to play for games 2 and 3. Please don't be Red Dragon Archfiend. Please don't be Red Dragon Archfiend. Please don't be Red Dragon Archfiend. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Blue Eyes. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I don't believe in the Blazar line. You know, I also don't really believe in the Blazar line. And allow me to explain. The Blazar line requires at least 2 cards out of your extra deck to be able to summon. And you don't always get into that. Oftentimes when you're going into Blazar, you probably have won the game. But what I do believe in is Spirit Dragon and then the Ultimate Spirit Dragon. And you're only playing 1 Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Why are we playing this card? This needs to be another Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Before we go any further, needs to be mandatory, compulsory. Needs to be another Spirit Dragon, right? We have our Primate Engine. I love it. We have our Jet Dragon, our 2 Blue Eyes, our 3 Maiden of White, our 3 Sage. I love it. What is this card doing here? Not necessary at all. Not at all. Not necessary, right? 0. Not necessary. We can drop this card. I prefer to play a 3rd Wishes of Eyes of Blue over this card. And it's simply because you don't have to play 3 because we have the Primate Engine, right? But this card's kind of cracked. right? I'd play a third Nibiru. I think I've seen some builds play 2 and 1, but I like the consistency of this is 1 card combo, this is 1.5 card combos. I like that consistency, but this needs to be something else, not Whitestone of the Ancients. Tested it for like 3 hours and I kept opening without tuners, so I added it. This card's not going to help you in the ways that you think. This is fine. This card's actually good. This is fine. Nah, everything else is fine. We're playing 3, 6, 9, 11 hand traps. You could go to 42 and just play another nib. No alternative is definitely wrong. That's crazy. Don't listen to HM Powered, guys. Bro, alternative becomes Blue Eyes on the field in Graveyard. HM, we do not care. We're not playing that card in here. Do not play Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, guys. Do not play Blue Eyes. Do not listen to HM Powered. Do not play Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, right? Help with the sighting? Okay, so Metaltronus is good, but where's our detonators? Are we sacrificing a Blue Eyes for... Why though? Oh, of course, I'll explain to you why. Because we don't want this card in our hand. This card's a brick. There's a reason why we're only playing 2. We do not want Blue Eyes White Dragon in our hand, right? So why the heck would we even want Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon in our hand? And what would Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon do for us? You see what I'm saying? Respectfully, I'll use my Spirit and Deep Eyes. Nothing wrong with that. Do what you got to do. If you want to run alternative, go ahead. But I don't want that in my hand. Then cut the Ultimate Fusion. That's also not correct. Then you actually don't care. Hey, yo, no, we summon this from the deck. We don't want it in our hand. Alternative is more like an Exceed line. Okay, chat, let's say if you want to do the Exceed line. When I still play alternative, no. Because it still requires you to have Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. We don't even have cards in our deck that are searching Blue Eyes White Dragon because we don't want it in our hand. And we're playing an Exceed line. There's one card that you should be considering for an Exceed line. Maiden with the Eyes of Blue. Maiden's actually busted. Normal summon Sage, add Maiden, link into Spirit, get the Mausoleum, activate Mausoleum, normal summon Maiden, Maiden target, Mausoleum, send a Blue Eyes, summon a Blue Eyes, Spirit, summon the other Blue Eyes, boom, there's your Exceed line. Too many people underuse Melody because we don't want to search. Melody fetches alternative and Blue Eyes White Dragon. We don't want Blue Eyes in our hand. We don't want alternative in our hand. We don't want them. We don't want them. We do not want them, my brother. What's wrong with the Azure Eyes? Doesn't it protect you from regular spirit destruction? Oh, you're talking about doesn't it protect it? We don't care about that. Because this card fundamentally does nothing. So we're going to summon Spirit Dragon, and then we're going to use Spirit Dragon to summon a card that does absolutely nothing. Where we can use Blue Eyes to summon Ultimate Spirit Dragon, which can negate a card on the field, and then recycle itself back into a Blue Eyes card. Maybe get Moonlight. Yeah, you can play another Moonlight. You can play another alternative or ultimate. I like double alternative or ultimate. I actually like 3 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon in double ultimate. I like that. But again, I don't think that that's like compulsory, right? I like how we have the Sussy code line, right? Personally, I've never went into double seals with this deck because your seals is more than likely going to summon Magnemite, and your Magnemite's going to get you back into your line, and you don't make another seals. But I can see why you're doing it. What do I think about running Master with the Eyes of Blue? It can get you back Valor, Maiden, or Sage. I think that the card I don't think it's bad, right? But a lot of times when you go Sage, your first search is either Maiden, your second search is Effect Valor, and there's normally not a time you want to search Master, right? Because Sage can always get you into another Effect Valor. So it's like, why would I do that when I can just summon Sage again? So side deck, we definitely need to be playing more Solemn Strikes. To be honest, I would probably cut these 2 for a Solemn Strike. That's a controversial topic, right? So when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, guys, you have to accept what you're going to lose into. Right now, the meta doesn't play any back row, right? So why are we afraid of back row? This card's crazy. I'm just going to play the Solemn Strikes. I mean, granted, I guess you could make an argument that they're playing Solemn Strike and this counter Solemn Strike, but this feels like we're half-assing it. No, we need to be double caked up into it, guys. Either we're going to go the double Lightning Storm Raigeki or the 3 Solemn Strikes. That's what I personally think about this situation here. The 1 random Chaos Hunter, I guess that's fine. Your side deck is fine. I guess Metaltronus is for the mirror match and for Ryziel. But yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Next is Big Brother Grizz. Just started playing cardboard recently and decided on White Force. I built this for locals and possibly YCS Houston. I believe my main deck is as good as I can make it, but I think my main concern is what to run for board breakers in my side deck this format, and maybe what else to run aside from Doggerus in the extra. I'm feeling iffy about him. I've never been a fan about Doggerus, unless like it's like one of those game-ending cards. Yep, this is interesting. So I'm not going to touch the main board since you see you're really confident about it, right? So we're just going to skip over this. I am concerned that we are playing. I like the Ash. I like the Droll. Because this is good against Molcharmy. Maybe Droll isn't good against Molcharmy in this deck. And it's strictly because if I think we can't get to a point where we Droll ourselves and they can't, like, we can still play. I'm not sure though. The random crossout is interesting. But again, me personally, if I were playing this deck, I would test out just 3 Ash as my only hand trap. And Ash's sole purpose is to stop Molcharmy. That's it. That's its sole purpose. I'm not sure if we can play the Droll again. If we could, I'm just playing 3 Ash, 3 Droll, and I'm going full board breaker, guys. Or the Fua. If it can't run Droll, I'm going 3 Ash, 3 Fua. And I'm going full board breaker. 3 Black Goat Laughs. Ultimate Slayers or Metaltronuses inside of the main deck. I'm going full send on that board breaker approach. Because as you guys already know, the White Forest cards can send those board breakers to the graveyard, especially Black Goat Laughs. This card's so underrated. But for the side deck, Book of Eclipse isn't bad. Book of Eclipse isn't bad. But I think Book of Eclipse feels better as a going first card. So it's a decent sideboard, right? Woo! Droll, Nib, and Molcharmies are basically floodgates that work alongside board breakers. Yeah, you got a point, boss man. Black Goat's like 35, 40 bucks. It's almost like somebody told you guys to buy it before it skyrockets in price. You guys should be looking to sell it right now, though. Always considering Metaltronus, so I have a good confirmation. I decided to run Droll for all the engines people are running. So Droll is tricky. Droll is really tricky because you'll have the matchups where Droll is really, really good. And then you'll have the matchups where Droll is like dog boo-boo. Like you're feeling bad like having Droll in your hand. So I think it's one of the, I'm not even sure if it's a great sideboard card, but Droll is one of those choices that people are doing, right? For your side deck, I like the evenly matched. I'm not a big fan of your triple tactics thrust because you don't even have really you don't have any great targets for it. We have Hollowed Azamina, triple tactics talent. Yeah, no, I'm probably dropping the thrust if I can't fit anything that actually works in here. But Metal Rona is good going first and going second card. We also have Exceed Encore. A lot of people sleep on Exceed Encore. That card's crazy, chat. Exceed Encore is ridiculous. Gotta love this new Master Duel deck. You're in silver and getting hit with a full Ash and Apollo. Yeah, that sucks, dog. That sucks. Yeah. I mean, so I think the cards that we should genuinely look at is Thrust, Lightning Storm, and if I'm being honest, these Bestials. I don't know why you have these random Bestials here. I'm trying to figure out what these random Bestials are for. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just don't know what it's for. You know what I mean? Running Bestials for Fiendsmith and making Light and Dark Chaos Angel, but I could do that with the Azamina cards? Yeah, you could. And to be able to check the Fiendsmith cards, I mean, what are you scared of? Desiree? If they're running Bestial, Fiendsmith, or if they're running Fiendsmith, Ryziel? Well, I'm sorry, maybe not Droll. I was thinking of, Mitsurugi. My apology. I was thinking of Mitsurugi when I was pointing the Droll. Like, your 3 cards is not going to come up enough to stop them. Nah, I think we get rid of the Lightning Storms. I think we get rid of the Tactics, or consider getting rid of the Lightning Storms. But we definitely get rid of the Triple Tactics talent. We definitely get rid of the Druid's Worms. Consider finding a way for a 3rd Black Goat Laughs inside of the deck that could be dropping Crossout or something like that. So you can't run Valor, Ogre, Bell, Imperm. So the reason why I would say no to running those cards, Imperm's a little bit different because it's a board breaker. But the reason why I would say is because we don't play enough hand traps, right? We know statistically speaking, when you start looking at the decks that have topped and are successful, they play either, I wouldn't even say 12. They play like 15 plus hand traps, right? If they are playing hand traps. Or they do a board breaker approach, which is 12 normally. If we can't fit 15 plus hand traps that have that low medium impact, then we probably shouldn't be deciding the low medium impact hand traps because they're not going to do enough. Like hypothetically, if we sided effect veilers in here and we didn't take out these, we would only have 3, 6, 8. We'd have 10 hand traps, which I think gives us like a 30% chance of drawing 2. And you guys already know 2 hand traps is not enough. You like need 2 specific hand traps to be able to work. All right, next we have Liv Morgan Simp. So Liv says, any changes for the deck? I would consider playing a whole new deck. Yep. I would do that. No, I'm just playing. Okay, to explain my list, my combos differ and I have 2 strikes in my side now. Depending on when I get hand trapped, the line differs, but people, wait, what? You make Dagda? Okay. Bro just bought the Japan Master Duel structure deck. I'm sick. Where's the Abeo Aku? I don't know. This might be the Master Duel structure deck. So if we don't have access to that, 3, that might be too many live twin monsters. Look, we don't need Gamma Burst, especially at 3. We don't need the Kaijus. The same thing that I was talking about with the last person. Can't remember their name right now for some reason. You need to do the opposite. You need to play 15 hand traps, dog. This should be at 3. This should be at 3. Again, don't know why we're playing this card. This should be considered. I don't think it's a bad card right now. We don't need lightning storms inside of the main board, right? If we're stuck on playing live twin sprite's probably the best, and we don't need 3 copies of Kisa Kill or 2 copies of the Kisa Kill Frost and the Leela Treat, right? 1 and 1 is fine. Okay. I like how you have all these starters, but another thing, you actually don't even need secret passwords if you're playing Sprite, because Sprite can link you back into that with Gigantic Sprite, right? Probably consider more hand traps, at least 15 inside of this deck. But more importantly, understand that this deck is not going to go very far, right? It's not a bad deck, right? It's just overpowered right now. It needs a little bit more support. The Fiendsmith cards would greatly help, but unfortunately, we don't have it. Kaiju going second is good because the deck doesn't have great going second plays. Brother, you play 15 hand traps and you play 20 hand traps and you hand trap your opponent to death. That is the going second plan. Okay? That's the going second plan. Your deck has cancer. Make it cancerous, all right? All right, let's see if we can get through some other people before we got to head out. Oh, no, smoke. Gladiator Beast Fiendsmith Primite. This is a deck that I'm building for locals, just wondering if there's anything I should consider adding or cutting. Maybe even some side options I want to consider, because I'm not that greatest when it comes to side decks. I never know when to make side decks more board breaker or hand traps approach. All right, bro, this. All right, guys, this is locals. All right, take out the Glad Beast is wild. Take out the Glad Beast is wild. No, you guys got to hear me out. We activate the Fiendsmith cards and they get bestial so we can full Gladiator Beast combo. All right. Wow. So he doesn't know if he should play more board breakers or more hand traps. So I will tell you guys this. Typically, not all the time. Typically, when you play a deck, if you're playing hand traps, you're playing hand traps. Now, would you play some type of board breakers to be able that are really good in certain matchups? Sure. Metal Tronus, Ultimate Slayer, excuse me. Even sometimes Forbidden Droplet are pretty good even when you're playing hand traps, right? Certain hand traps would you play alongside of board breakers? Of course, we just talked about them. Droll, Nip, Ash. Those are some that we would consider. First of all, we need to establish if our deck is a hand trap or board breaker deck. Oftentimes, you can realize when your deck is hand trap or board breaker for 1 or 2 reasons. Does your deck require a ton of engine? More than likely, you're probably better off in the board breaker approach. Does your deck require a ton of engine and has actual cards to help you break boards like built in? You're probably closer and closer towards that board breaker approach, right? Does your deck play a tiny engine? Is your deck really good at card management and economy? Probably going towards the hand traps. Somehow you managed to fit 3, 6, 9, 12 hand traps with 2 triple tactics talent and a call by the grave, letting me know that you could potentially fit 15 hand traps inside of your deck. You could potentially play hand traps in this deck and get away with it, right? We also have Fiendsmith, which can help us break boards a little bit. So I would be more inclined to think that we don't need triple tactics stress, but we are using it to be able to get Dimensional Barrier and Artifact Sanctum. For a low-level locals deck, this is not a bad version of it, right? I feel like Forbidden Droplet is one of the most powerful board breakers. You are not wrong. I think that you are doing something here. Now, what exactly is that something? Let me know after locals, okay? You got to let me know how good this is after locals. I don't really have any suggestions. It's locals. You should go up there and have fun, okay? Let me know how it goes and we can adjust accordingly. But your deck looks fine for a local levels event. Nobody likes that try hard, which you're getting very close to borderline doing. I'm not going to lie. Engraver engine in here is crazy. So the last guy today is Twisted Chaos. And Twisted Chaos didn't say anything. Holy crap, it's like they didn't listen to what we had to say. They're just going to send us a Master Duel hero build that means Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. I am not going to lie to you guys. I actually like this card. For the people that don't know, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. If it's sent to the graveyard by a spell effect, you can target one hero monster in your graveyard except for Solid Soldier and summon it in defense position. What I like so much about this card is that it can special summon back Elemental Hero Stratos, and Stratos would get its effect again, right? So I'm just going to assume that this is a pure hero deck. Like, this man wants to play nothing but heroes, and I can respect that. But we're technically playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're playing 14 normal summons, my brother. I don't. 15? Where's the 15? You really can't count Stratos because he's not even playing a hero lives. What kind of deck is this? I'm not going to lie. The longer I look at it, though, the more I want to play it. He's playing Neo Space Connector with no Neospatian? Yo, what is going on? Yeah, nah, this ain't it, dog. Oh, it can summon Elemental Hero Neos from your hand or deck. Okay, cool. Where's Miracle Fusion? Yo, we're actually playing the Elemental Hero Sunrise with no Miracle Fusion. We're not playing the Elemental Hero Infernal Flame Wingman, but we're playing Favored Contact. I'm sick! Somebody send me home. This seems to be a pure Elemental Hero deck. And I'm not going to lie, I'm inspired by it. There's no reinforcement of the army. There's 16 normal summons. Just Imperm and Maxi. Bro, the longer I look at this list, the worse it gets. You know when somebody sends a patient in and you're like, bro, I can't help you. You got this many days to live. Liquid Soldier without Absolute Zero. I didn't even look at that. We're done here. We're done, guys. That's it. Show's over. Show's over. Go home. I was actually in favor of the 3 Favored Contact because it's a hero deck, right? So I wasn't like against that, but man, there's no Infernal Rage. There's no cool cards, right? No Shadow Mist. Yeah, somebody put this in here to troll. We're done here, guys.